Hello everyone, I'm back for my second reading from When Love Gets Hairy, and I'll be continuing the scene that I read from previously, where Nino learns who the owner is of the precocious little Frenchie who refuses to leave him alone. Alright, let's get started. If Nino had a gun, he would have shot himself, point blank, in the head. Of course the furry little fucker's owner would be the furry little fucker from this morning. That was just his goddamn luck these days, wasn't it? Louie wagged his butt vigorously. He obviously recognized his owner, but he refused to get off Nino's lap. He did manage to arf at his approaching master. He then turned his squashed face up to Nino and snuffed. Why did this dog look so damn pleased with himself? "There you are," Louie's dad panted. "Here I am," Nino replied. "I'm not talking to you, fuckface. I'm talking to my dog." Nice comeback. No matter how much the hairy little piece of shit pissed him off, the guy's attitude served him well. Also, he looked different from this morning. Was he holding in his stomach or something? He definitely still had a belly, but it didn't jut out as far as he recalled. The man was still hairy, excessively so. The stubble on his face appeared darker and thicker in just a few short hours since Nino had seen him last. The man's father must have been a Sasquatch. "What are you doing with my dog?" "With your dog?" Nino asked. "The one you seem incapable of taking care of?" "I can take care of Louie just fine." The man's eyes shot through him. Apparently, if he had a gun, he would have fired it at Nino too. Nino liked getting that kind of reaction out of his jerk, and why wouldn't he? He now had this man's precious little pooch in his lap, and little Louie seemed quite content where he was sitting. Another point for Nino. Maybe the dog wanted to upgrade to a better and leaner master. Louie could certainly do better. That would definitely put him ahead by at least another 2 points. "I don't think you can take care of him," Nino said at last. "Dogs without a leash are a no-no in P-Town. And so is trying to sell stolen dogs for profit." Profit? What the fuck was this guy talking about? "I didn't steal your damn dog. I was minding my own business, on the way to a pretty hot fuck if you'd like to know, when your little Louie comes trotting after me." "Yeah, right," he said. "You expect me to believe that my dog just happened to chase after you? The one guy in this town who I can't stand? That's what you want me to believe? You can believe in the tooth fairy for all I care. The truth is the truth. I didn't steal your dog." Little Louie snuffed in support from Nino's lap. "Don't you come to his defense," the guy said to his dog. They apparently had one-way conversations. How did he know that, though? How was he able to read both the dog and the man so well? He typically couldn't read an open book, mostly because he didn't care. And he didn't care right now either. Not about this guy or his dog. But when he gazed down at the funny-looking pooch, Nino had to admit he cared about Louie a little bit. When the hell did that happen? "You know, the man attached to the lap you're in is a dick." Louie yawned at his owner's comment and made himself even more uncomfortable in Nino's lap by falling asleep. "Your dog's as bored by your tirade as I am," Nino announced. His eyebrows arched, as they typically did when smug superiority descended. He usually reserved such gestures for Van, the one person who he enjoyed verbally sparring with. It was part of the relationship he had cultivated with his best friend. Then why was he continuing to banter with this guy? This guy wasn't Van, and he didn't waste time idly chit-chatting with most people, not even the guys he actually planned to fuck. He and this hairy mess might have already hooked up, but there wasn't exactly going to be a repeat, something both of them could agree on. It was probably the only thing they'd agree on. "How about you just take your dog from my lap and be on your merry little way?" Nino asked. He wanted to get the hell out of here and back to his trick. If he missed the opportunity to fuck Brody in his tight butt, there'd be hell to pay. "I'm sure there's a meal you're no doubt dying to get back to." A cool mist settled over the man's eyes. He apparently hit a nerve with that comment. Good. His work here was officially done. The guy opened his mouth to respond, but before he could utter a word, a blonde-haired woman emerged from the crowd. What the fuck was up with her 1980s hairstyle? She looked like a combination of Debbie Gibson and Tiffany. Where the fuck did that mess come from? "Teddy!" she exclaimed. "There you are!" This guy's name was Teddy? Really? Teddy the bear? God, he'd never wanted to vomit more in his life. "I was wondering where you ran off to," she said as her eyes swept over Louie in his lap. She rested one hand on her hip and sneered. "And I see you found the little bastard." "Yes, I found him," Teddy replied without looking at his friend. The coolness of the man's stare thawed, and the sly grin that pulled at his lips betrayed his true emotion. Teddy was preparing to hurl an insult. Louie's apparently been slumming. Nino suppressed a laugh, not because of the comment, it was tired and lame. But he found it amusing that Teddy the bear seemed to enjoy their war of words too. How fucked up was that shit? The blonde's face changed as she studied Nino. A coquettish smile danced across her lips as her ravenous eyes set upon him. "Hi," she said. Her dreamy-eyed stare revealed her attraction, and if Nino wasn't careful, she'd devour him whole. "I'm Irene." What the fuck was he doing being all social and shit? He didn't have time for this. He had other more important places to be, like buried pubes deep up a nice tight hole. "Nice to meet you," he said as he took Louie in his arms and stood. "But I need to get going." "Aw," Irene complained. "We were just about to get better acquainted, and you were about to tell me your name." "My name's Nino," he said. She held out her hand, loose at the wrist. She evidently wanted Nino to shake it or kiss it. He had no intention of doing either. "Sorry," he told her. "I've got a date." "With syphilis, no doubt," Teddy retorted. Nino laughed despite himself. This guy was good. If he didn't hate him so much, they might actually be good friends, but he did hate him, rabidly. Besides, he could never get past Teddy calling him a plastic. That was unforgivable in Nino's book. And once he set himself against someone, there was no coming back from that. "No STDs for me, thanks," he said while handing Louie over to Teddy. The groggy pup snuffed around about being disturbed, but in his daddy's arms he promptly fell back to sleep. "I'll let you pick those up for yourself, if there's someone willing to sleep with you, that is. I have no trouble getting guys," Teddy announced. "You know that better than anyone." Irene's mouth fell open. "The two of you?" She stopped. Surprise apparently stole her breath. After swallowing down her shock, she continued. "Hooked up?" "I like to think of it as date rape," Nino told Irene. Her eyes grew even wider at this remark. Teddy nodded. "I agree. I don't remember any of it, which means that your new buddy Nino here took advantage of me." The tone of Teddy's voice changed. It no longer bit, or even stung. It turned light and playful, like when he and Van joked around. The only way this day could get any weirder would be if Louie woke up and started speaking in a bad French accent. "This is the guy you were with last night?" Irene asked. She seemed completely incapable of understanding this turn of events, as if Teddy and Nino together sounded like the most absurd plot twist she'd ever heard. Should he be offended or agree with the sentiment? He and Teddy were definitely not made for each other. That was for damn sure. Besides, Nino didn't do relationships. Never would. Especially not with a bear. "All right, I'm out of here," he finally said after a few moments. "Places to go, people to do." "Don't be a stranger," Irene said. A stranger? Nino planned on running in the other direction if he ever saw either of them again. Instead of admitting that, he replied, "See you when I see you." "Which means never," Teddy clarified. Nino smiled. This guy knew him too well already. "Like I said, when I see you." "Thanks for finding Louie," Teddy said as he gazed down lovingly at his snoring dog, "and for not selling him." "You're welcome," Nino replied, before he could stop the polite words from exiting his mouth. What he needed was a stapler to fasten his lips shut. I wouldn't have gotten very much for him anyway. Teddy nodded and laughed before turning around and departing with Irene. They strolled together back up Commercial Street. When Nino started walking in the other direction, he began to whistle. He hadn't done that in years. All right, thanks for being here. I'll see you all back on Facebook comments. Bye.